Let's continue the examples in our notes. An observer looks down from the top of the lighthouse to a person boating in the water at an angle of depression of 35 degrees. If the person is approximately 45 feet from the base of the lighthouse, then how tall is the lighthouse? Okay, so here's a classic case of using trigonometry and right triangles to find this information. The angle of depression is 35 degrees. So we know that this angle X is 35. Angle of depression is measured from a horizontal line of sight, which is, sort of imaginary. You almost have to sort of draw that in down to an object. And this is the line of sight here. So this angle is 35 degrees. Okay. Now we learned in the last video that this angle here, our angle of elevation, right, from a horizontal line of sight looking up, would actually be congruent because these two angles are alternate interior. So I'm going to just put a 35 there. I know that's a parallel line. And it's asking me how tall is the lighthouse. So I'm going to make a big H right here because the lighthouse is some unknown height. And we have to assume that the lighthouse is perpendicular to the ground, right? Every problem that we're going to do forms a right triangle. So we know the person is approximately 45 feet from the base of the lighthouse. So again, solving for H, I could use my regular trig formulas. I would know that in comparison to the 35, H is the opposite side. Okay, I'm going to make that opposite. I would know that 45 is my adjacent side. And I would use the tangent formula since I am looking for the opposite side and I know the adjacent side. So I'm going to say that the tangent of 35 degrees equals opposite, which is H, over adjacent, which is 45. And I'm going to form a proportion, cross multiply, and solve for H. I'm going to get H equals 45 times the tangent of 35. And so I'll just type that in my calculator and let's see what I get. So 45 times the tangent of 35 degrees gives me roughly 31.5 feet. Okay. And my answer, I believe, seems reasonable, right? I know that if this is a 35-degree angle, okay, this is going to be my smallest angle in the triangle. How do I know that? Well, if I have a 90-degree here, I know this angle here has got to be 55, right? Because 55 plus 35 are going to add to 90 plus another 90 for 180. And I could see that my hypotenuse will be larger. 55 will be like my medium angle. So it makes sense that 45 is bigger than the 31.5. So I'm satisfied that this is a reasonable answer. And I'll see you in the next video for the next example.